Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how
He's alive!
Welcome to where the weird ones are.
Every time I speak, I want the truth to come out.
Powerful figures in Hollywood as well as powerful politicians who are in fact not human. They're reptiles or they're lizards or perhaps extraterrestrials.
I don't think it is a human. I think it's a Sasquatch.
Go ahead and run. Run home and cry to mama.
Let's get weird.
What's up, you fucking weirdos? Welcome to another episode of Where the Weird Ones Are. My name is Kevin, but you probably already knew that, and if you didn't, now you do. Today's episode is with my good buddy Ron, his daughter Austyn, and her husband Zach. They make up Screaming Skulls Paranormal, and they recently investigated at Waverly Hills. So I invited them on to discuss the goings-ons and what it was like to be at Waverly for those of us who have it on our bucket list and have had the chance to go. I figured getting somebody on with some insight of the property would be fantastic. So it is very haunted, um, but they never felt any kind of fear, and they talk about it um, in today's episode. So we learn a bit about that. Now, I will say, in discussing this topic with them, like, because Ron did invite me out there, and Kentucky's it's a quite the drive for me. Um, I mean, I could always get a plane too. That's fine too, but either way, it's going to be money and time to get out there. But so what I'm thinking about doing is getting a bunch of people together for like a vacation, and we can do stuff all together, and Waverly being one of them. It's like $1,000 for 8 hours overnight. I think they said like 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. or something like that. So if any of you are interested, please, reach out to me some way, somehow, either comment on the YouTube video, comment on the episode on Spotify, or email me, hit me up on the Instagram, get me on Facebook, whatever. If you're interested, cool. Um, I do, because so what we can do is set up a trip with frickin' I'm forgetting the app now, the Truvo app. I had a woman reach out to me from them. uh, I feel like I'm saying it wrong. Trova Trip, maybe. And they make itineraries for you and for us, for a group of people. So if there's enough people interested, obviously we all have to pay for the trip and stuff, but we can do stuff together. They don't really have paranormal stuff, so I'm thinking like if we go to Louisville, Kentucky, or the area, you know what I mean? We could ask them to leave one night of our thing blank so that we could do the investigation. Or we can just wing it and not use Trova Trip. Um, totally fine with that too. Possibly maybe towards the end of this year, maybe next year, is when I'd be looking to do that. So yeah, if you're interested, please let me know. I might do like a trip or two every year starting the end of this year or next year for people that listen and that are interested in stuff like getting the community together and whatnot. So yeah, just like a little mini vacation for everybody that's like-minded to get together and stuff. So in Waverly Hills, I think would be good. So if we get like 10 people together, everybody throws in $100, and we can rent the Waverly Hills for 8 hours through the night, you know? And I think Ron does say that he believes that there's a 15-person limit, which if there's a 15-person limit, dude, come on now. First of all, it'd be cheaper on everybody. Second of all, we could cover so much more of the property and we could all film it and then I can combine it or somebody who's, a digital creator can combine it into one like video and get everything that everybody captured and like a short like movie, like a 2-hour movie or something like that. Or we could break it up. Who knows? Because you never know. There could be a lot of stuff that gets captured, but it could also be very little. Who knows? But just throwing that out there if anybody's interested. Obviously, if you've been listening to the show, you know how to get a hold of me. So, but quick shout out to the sponsor, Flavors of the Forest, Bigfoot's Breath, raw garlic dust. I put this shit on everything, and you should too. It's yummy, tasty goodness. Um, You can get it at flavorsforest.com. You can also follow them on Instagram at flavorsforest. Nelson and Matt, phenomenal dudes. Um, love them to death, and they definitely deserve the praise. They got a couple different flavors, so please go check them out. Again, that's flavorsforest.com. You can get yourself some. Um, and yeah, if you are experiencing any kind of mental distress here in the United States, please dial 988. This is a suicide prevention hotline, and they are equipped to help you. Obviously, like I said, with any kind of mental distress, it's not just, suicidal ideation. Um, I've talked about it on the show a few times. I struggle with that, or I have in the past. So I think mental health is extremely important, especially with the topics that we discuss here on the show. Like our experiences tend to make us feel a little crazy. So, um, but I think that's about it for TN Fest is May 17th here in Sanford, Maine. I will be there, so I hope to see you there if you're in the area. Obviously, I don't expect you traveling across the country to come up to Maine just for this itty bitty event, but it should be a good one. Last year was dope, so um really hoping to sell a bunch of hot sauce this year. Um and then I think after that, it won't be until June, and then it's June 7th is the Cobble Mountain Bigfoot in Russell, Massachusetts. So, and then after that, it's July 26th at the Smoky Mountain Bigfoot Conference. And then we'll see what happens from there. But yeah, I appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to the show, to watch the show, however you're consuming it. If I'd be doing this if I didn't have listeners and viewers. So I'm great. I'm extremely grateful that you're here and you take the time to listen to people's stories, listen to the topics we discuss and stuff and um allow me into your space essentially, you know. So I'm really appreciative of that. um I never set this show out to be, something. I'm just doing something that I like to do, have these conversations. I don't expect to make money off of it. I do a little bit, but I didn't that was never my intent. So, without you guys listening and consuming, it wouldn't be anything that I could possibly get there for that. So I'm really grateful for all of you who listen. So, um but yeah, if you like today's show, please like, follow, share, subscribe, leave a rating and review. If your podcatcher does not allow you to leave a review, you can leave one on the website where the weird ones are. podcast.com. You can also get merch, hot sauce, coffee, and supplements. But yeah, I could really use some ratings and some reviews if you're feeling up for it. Also, Weird Java in the Morning is my morning show for Sunday mornings. It's 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central. I do kick it out onto its own podcast, which is called Weird Java in the Morning. So if you're interested in checking that out, it's just like a little variety show, like comedy and stuff. We do news, movie quote, guess the movie quote, guess the Florida man. We do a missing persons segment, which is covered by the ladies from Like Mother, Like Murder, Rachel and Heather, who are phenomenal people. I love them to death. And I will promote them and all their works for the end of time. That's how much I like them. So I think yeah, I think that's about it. We do this day in history on there as well. So yeah, we just try to have a really good fucking time, and that's the whole point. Is just have a good time, and you know, it's fun. So, all right, without further ado, let's get into it with Ron, Austyn, and Zach. Screaming Skulls Paranormal.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Let's get weird. Let's get weird. Let's get weird. Let's get weird. Weird. Get weird.
Hey, this is Rochelle Stratton, and you are listening to Kevin with Where the Weird Ones Are. So sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Maintain record quality. Okay. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Where the Weird Ones Are. So happy to have you here. Today we have Ron from Grave Evidence, his daughter Austyn, and her partner Zach from Screaming Skulls Paranormal. How are you guys all doing tonight?
Doing good.
Good.
Great. Fantastic. So you guys just recently went to actually, you know what? I'll just have you guys plug your stuff real quick. So Ron, if you don't mind, letting everybody know where they can find you and stuff like that if they're interested.
I'm across, well, actually, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. Grave Evidence. I don't have anything on YouTube, but I do on
Okay.
TikTok and Instagram.
Okay. And then Austyn and Zach.
Yeah, we're also on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. It's Screaming Skulls Paranormal. And if you have trouble, you can just go to Grave Evidence because he likes to tag us and promote us.
Perfect. So the last week's show that David and I did on Weird Java in the Morning, we discussed Waverly Hills for a little bit, and we talked about you and David's conversation with you, Ron. And how was the initial I know that it took you guys some time to when you guys knew that you were going, but like driving up to the property, how was that like initial feeling?
Well, the way the road kind of goes, it was, I don't know, because we went in the back way. We didn't actually come in the front gates.
Yeah.
And the way that road goes is like windy, and it's like, where are we going? Is this thing in the middle of the woods or what? It was like I think it was a state park entrance or something that we actually went in.
Mhm.
It was on the back side. And once we got up to the building, I mean, just pulling up to the building, we come up in the area to where the famous gargoyle's at, and that's the first thing you see, you know.
Right.
And it was just starting to get dark out, and they got that gargoyle all lit up, and it sits right in the corner of the building, to where the big ass ominous part of the building goes in like a wing to the backside, which used to be all the labs and um, administration part of Waverly.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, that's all you see is a massive, great big building. It's ominous as hell looking.
I'm
There was
sure.
no real, there was no real feel as far as pulling up, other than pretty much for me was the anticipation, because that place was top of my bucket list to go to. You know, I was really excited just to see that building because it's huge.
It's huge. Yeah, it is. I mean, the pictures I've seen, I'm just like, wow, that's an amazing place. And the stories I've heard from it have been nothing but everybody that I've heard of or that I've talked to that has gone there has had experiences. So it's very highly active, and I know we talked about it last night when we tried recording, and my computer was not cooperating, and we talked about how the Indiana State Penitentiary, what the hell, sanatorium was a lot more darker than Waverly. So you guys never felt like you were in? There was no state of fear or like anything that you felt like you were in danger in any kind of way while you were at Waverly?
I didn't. I was completely comfortable in that building. They might have.
I think possibly we could have been and not realized because of that incident
On
with
the roof.
me and Kinsey.
See, I did the tour beforehand, but he stayed in the main room, and we got up to the 5th floor, and there's a room and there's a roof on both sides that you can walk on. And from research, I seen that people have like, excuse me, are like drawn to just jump off that roof for no reason, and they don't know why. And I didn't find out until afterwards that both him and our daughter, who went with us, were both zoned out on that roof thinking about what would happen if they jumped out off of it.
Wow.
Well, with that roof was where they kept the children's ward, the children that were I can't think of the word for it, but uh, terminal. Okay, they kept the children up there that were terminal and the adults up there that were terminal, because that was the where tuberculosis had actually gotten into their brain, which it also it's, you know, it's not just a breathing issue. It literally eats whatever it gets, you know.
Mhm.
So basically, everybody that was up there on that floor were not only terminal but also more or less insane. I don't mean to, you know, I'm not saying that that's actually what they were, but they weren't right in the mind, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, that could be the reason on that, what she was talking about.
Yeah, I could see that. Not like possession, but just like a unanimous wanting, like the energy that's stuck there from them just being like, I'm stuck in this freaking area. I'd rather just jump off the roof. I don't want to live out my days like this.
That floor was actually active, really active too. I was
Yeah.
up there and my phone went from like, I think it was 17%, and before I could get the battery pack out of my backpack and the cable to charge my phone and actually get it plugged into my phone went dead that quick.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it literally,
Ron,
because I was on a live.
You actually did plug it in but it still was just dropping. I think you plugged it
Yeah,
in like 3%, and then it just kept going down.
yeah. I made a little short clip of it that I posted that says, and it actually, because I was on a live on TikTok,
Mhm.
and as it went from 17% to 5% that quick, and then as I'm plugging it in and trying to figure out what the hell I'm doing, fiddling with it, I said, oh, now it's 4%. Then it went from 4 to 2%. And before I could say anything else, I said 1%, and then it died. That
Wow.
that floor was that floor was really active.
Yeah, you got
Wow.
the K2 meter. My K2 meter's battery too.
Yeah, the battery drain was insane in that building.
I
But
I I can imagine. I always because I've never done paranormal investigation, but like I hear the stories of people's phones and their equipment and their batteries are dropping. I'm like, I feel like that's something they're just saying just to like make us think that there's paranormal when they're telling these stories. And then when I've done 3 investigations now since I've ever thought that,
I was
right?
gonna say, I thought you went with 305 and them.
Yeah, I did. I went out there. That was a pretty cool experience down in Florida. And then I did one in the Huckamuck Swamp in the Bridgewater Triangle. And then the third
Right.
one was at the Conjuring House. And the Conjuring House is where my phone would not stay alive at all. And I was like,
Yeah.
all right, there is something to this. I get it now. But
Right.
that's got to be the most pain in the because I have I got Ghost Tube. I think we talked about this last night too when we were trying to record. Is that I have Ghost Tube on my phone, and I was trying to use that too. And I don't know if it was a combination of the energy in the house and me having the app on, and it was just like it went down and died, and then I had to put it on the charger and then it felt like it was on the charger for so long before it ever even turned back on. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah. Yep.
So, but you also had that issue with the phones in the sanatorium in Indiana State Sanatorium, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't stay live. I mean, it was recording my live,
Uh,
but when I got the way TikTok goes, it records the live for you. Well, after we had gotten done, I went back to review the live at Indiana State, and I went back to review the live, and the whole live said it wasn't available. And I think it was like 3 months later, I just happened to go in to review the live, and there was every bit of that live from Indiana State Sanitarium. When I'm looking at a screen as I'm walking around Indiana State Sanitarium, that's black, and it was because it wasn't because I was walking around dark. It was because the live wasn't going through. You know what I mean? It just went like it was doing to us last night. The screen went black.
yeah.
Well, and then like 3 months later, the whole live just pops up that it recorded it.
Yeah. That
I don't know.
yeah, that was one of the more like brain scratching, like head scratching stories that you told the first time you were on. I was just like, like how is that like even like obviously
Even
there's
possible.
right, there's obviously something going on spiritually in my opinion. I mean, listeners, you're open to your own opinions and interpretations of all of these stories. But that would be my opinion. But so you guys you went to Waverly with a few different people. And I remember you reached out to me probably like the week prior and like, hey, you want to go to Waverly? I was like, you son of a bitch.
Right. Yeah, it was. That's because everybody backed out at the last minute, like and we're like, oh, okay, now what? You know,
Mm-hmm.
because that was the way the guy set it up. if we had enough people to cover the initial cost, it was, that would make it the cheaper route for us. It was $100 a piece instead of $1,000 or whatever it is.
Yeah, understandable. If I was closer, I'd probably definitely would have gone. But
oh, I know.
we were also leaving on vacation too that same exact day that you were supposed to be arriving there too. So that would have been another reason anyway. But I was just like, oh man, do I want to cancel my vacation and spend vacation out there instead? Like
right.
I literally thought about it. But so who was the guy that put this all together with you guys?
His name is Shannon, 502 Paranormal Crew on Clapper. If any of you are on Clapper, I do advise checking him out because he's a good dude.
Okay. All right. And Clapper's I think we discussed this one of the last times you were on. It's it's like another kind of sort of TikTok thing, right?
Yeah, it's an 80s version of TikTok. It's like real slow. It says on it when you go to sign in that it's for the older generation. It's
Okay.
not for kids. It's for the older adults is I believe the right wording.
Hey Ron, so does that mean I get to call you the older adult in parentheses?
Yeah. He's just mad because I got him and my granddaughter at Waverly.
Yeah, tell us that story because you did mention it when we talked when I asked you to come on. You're like, I did.
It was terrible. The fear that went over my body, I've never felt that in my life.
Oh shit! He got you good then.
Oh, by far, hands down, it was a 10 out of 10.
He did good. Get down, Peanut.
I'm not sure what we were.
He did the full.
Oh, okay.
Changing the camera battery.
No, not the camera. The infrared or something.
Oh, the infrared died.
The infrared died, and the camera was still recording. And me and my daughter are at the camera, changing it. Austyn is to my left, and out of nowhere, because me and Ron, we separated, so he's on the other side of the building, so I thought. And out of nowhere, he just has that Aztec
death whistle.
Death whistle, yeah. And he just wails on it, and we just froze. Like me and my daughter froze, looking at him, but I didn't see Ron standing there, but we're looking at the direction. We're just so froze, eyes are huge. And if Ron didn't start speaking, I was about to take off running. Like it was that bad.
Wow.
Yeah, he joined the Brown Shorts Club is what happened.
No,
that's funny.
I showed everybody. I
like being scared.
I showed everybody on my live, and I shut my headlight off on my hat, and I said, "Watch this." I said, "This is going to be great." And I kind of snuck up there, and Austin's sitting over on the floor inside one of the rooms, and she's got the spirit talker going, and she's got equipment out on the floor, and it's going off. Well, I snuck up their door, and I got right by the door, and I stepped on a rock or something, and it made a little bit of a noise. Well, Austyn turned and looked, and I swore she saw me. Like kind of ducked into another room, the next room. Nobody seen me, and I sat there for a minute. Well, they started talking again. So I popped around the corner with that death whistle, and I blew that whistle. And Zach did the full body stutter. It was, I laughed so hard I was freaking crying.
I heard that. I didn't know what I thought I was gonna. Your mind goes to the movies. Like I'm thinking some spirit's gonna fly in at me and just like, yeah. I thought I was dead. Like, and I swear, if I had another half a second, I was about to throw the camera and run. And
Pretty sure you traumatized.
Oh man, there was words come out of my granddaughter's mouth that I never expected to hear. She was mad as hell.
That's hilarious. That's awesome. So one of the questions that I did want to I wanted to ask Austyn is, when you walked into the building, did you get any certain feelings, or were you just happy to be there?
I could feel the energy before we even got to the building. Once we got on that road that leads up to it, and we were about halfway down that road, I could feel. I even told the people in our car, I was like, "Oh, I can feel it." Like as soon as we got closer to it, I can feel it. And so, yeah, going in there, it was like more like, as far as what I could feel was just like stress of getting everything in, because everybody was in the building before I even walked away from the car,
Oh shit.
So I'm grabbing 50 bags of equipment. But I think it was and that with the excitement kind of muddied it. But once I got in and settled, but yeah, you can definitely feel the energy there. It doesn't feel negative, but it does feel kind of like what my dad was saying, like despair, like depression. Like you can feel the sorrow that they felt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely oppressive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I could see that. What I'm unfamiliar with what the original purpose for Waverly was. Do you guys know, like, the intent of what it was built for?
You want to answer that?
Yeah, I can. I mean, I know a little bit about the history of it. I don't know the exact dates though, honestly.
Yeah, right.
But it started out as a school. They built a school on that property, and I don't remember the exact reason, but they named that school Waverly Hills. The school was named. I think it was in the name of the county or the city or something. I don't remember, but it started as a school, and I don't know the year. It was 1926, 27, 28, or something like that. They built the hospital, and it was a tuberculosis hospital at that time, or it was the largest one in the area. And it's said, as legend goes, whatever. They had to eventually move it to where only the people in the county of Kentucky, that county that it was actually in, they had to make it that county only could come to that place, because there was like, there was so many people dying from tuberculosis at that time that it was supposed to be the most up to date hospital available. They supposedly had all the best uh, treatment there could be, because they believed it was an open air and sunshine. They believed that was a cure for tuberculosis, when actually it wasn't.
Yeah. Man, I really I would love to go there someday. But how much did you say that it was to rent? Did you guys do like the entire night, or was it just a couple hours?
8 hours. 8 hours.
Okay.
8 hours. I think it's like $1,000 for 8 hours.
Okay. Wow.
I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
Yeah, and with now, this is opinionative, but it is my opinion. That is not near long enough to get that see that building.
No,
there's no way.
I can't imagine.
5 floors.
We spent like at most an hour on the floor. Like we was doing like what 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Scrambling to hit the hot spots that she told us about on the tour. Like there's hundreds of rooms I didn't even step into. I didn't have time to.
Uh-huh.
I just went to hot. Like I couldn't just sometimes you'll find spirits in some random corner of the building, and you don't have time to kind of just follow. It's either that or you're missing the hot spots.
Wow.
Yeah, and and then plus all the famous rooms that everybody has talked about. You want to see them, of course, because that's where hey, this has happened here, and you got 15 people saying that this has happened in this room. You know, but we found it wasn't so much in the rooms that they said it was the hot spots. Actually, it was all through the building. That whole place was active. I mean, there was doors slamming and all kinds of shit. It was definitely intense at times.
Yeah. What was the first thing that you guys encountered? Like once you were set up and everything, what was the first thing that happened that you guys were able to capture?
The body shoot.
The body shoot.
Yes. Well, that was the first place we went.
Was the body shoot, and I
Okay.
ate shit. Didn't
Yeah.
realize there was ice on the steps. Like, and once you got further down, and out of nowhere, I threw my phone and landed on my butt, and I was like, "What just happened?"
We got pictures of the icicle.
So,
Or the reverse icicle.
that is weird. There's like little ice bubbles coming out of the ground. It didn't make any sense. And there was no icicles dripping to it or anything. Just these weird little bubbles coming out of the ground.
Yeah, so basically it looked like an icicle, but upside down. It was going up from the ground.
Yeah.
And it wasn't.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and I looked. I was like, well, maybe water's just dripping on it, And but above it, the ceiling was clear. I mean, there was no water coming in. So.
Yeah. Well, the body shoot, I think they said it was 566 foot long.
It was
something like that.
It was just under 600 foot.
Yeah, 500. It's 500 something foot long, and it actually goes down the mountain, through the mountain, inside the mountain down to the train tracks.
Oh wow!
And that was how they would take the bodies out to keep the morale up on the patients that were in there. Because at one point there was up to, as said, one person an hour dying in that building.
Wow. Like for years or?
Yeah, from I think it was 1920 or 1930 until up to almost 1946. It was that way.
Holy shit!
Yeah, there was a lot of people. They said that anywhere from 6,000 to, well, they had a flood. They used to keep all the records in downtown Louisville, and when that flood happened in 1946, I think it was, it actually flooded downtown Louisville and destroyed all the records. So they don't have an accurate count of the actual death on the property. I mean, they're guesstimating, and they say it's anywhere from 6 to 10,000 people that passed away on that property.
That it could be as much as 60,000 people. But
damn,
the owner, I believe, had said that it's probably closer to the 6 to 10,000.
Right.
Holy shit!
Right. If you go by what everybody else has said, like Austyn said, it was up to 60,000 people. Which,
Yeah.
I mean, if there was a person an hour dying for 20 years, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure there was a lot more than 10.
Yeah.
10,000.
Wow. That's a lot of people, man. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of stagnant energy in one place too.
Well, see, that's what was weird about it, because you would think that with that many deaths in that building, that it would be a really heavy, you know, bad feeling, and that's not the way I felt it. I mean, I was completely comfortable walking around in that building.
Yeah. I
I
wonder if
felt the
it's because they were treated decently, you know what I mean? Like I wonder if like the staff there actually treated them like people and not like just things to throw away, you know what I'm saying? Like with Indiana State Sanatorium when we talked, like they
yeah,
weren't treated well. A lot of people that died
no,
there weren't treated well. So I wonder if that, cuz like I feel like trauma is what makes a place dark. And yes, like obviously death and stuff, there's, you know, depression, despair, like there's things that are associated with sickness and like when you feel hopeless and all that stuff. Like I almost wonder if that the only traumatic thing was that they were expecting to die. You know what I mean? But they were treated well while they were there. Because I haven't heard any stories there personally that, you know, staff was abusive or anything like that.
They even had like, I believe they had like movie days where they'd put movies on and they would do all kinds of things trying to keep people, you know, their spirits up and morale up. So it seems like they were treated well.
Yeah.
well, they say it. They say they were. I mean, as far as like she was talking about the movies, uh, in the main hall, the main entrance, is a great big grand hall type place. You know, I mean, it's freaking huge, chandeliers hanging from the ceiling and shit. But it actually had a theater and stage right there in it.
Okay.
You know, so and they say that they also believe that a healthy diet, not per se like counting calorie type diet, but to feed them well, that was also supposedly another uh, attribute of getting well
Mm-hmm.
from tuberculosis. So everything's pointing that the patients that were there were really treated well. As far as you know, there's horror stories where they say they pushed them out on the porch in the winter. Well, I imagine they did, but I'm sure they were, you know, blanketed well. I'm sure there was abuse there as well too. I mean, that's a given. You
Yeah.
get that many people in one place, you know.
Yeah, there's a bad egg in every group of people.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and who's to say before they moved them up to the fifth floor where the tuberculosis of the brain had, you know, they kept all them patients, that they wasn't half crazy down on the second or third floor, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean,
that makes
you
sense.
know,
Did
before they moved them up.
right. One of the stories that I heard out of there is that there's a lot of shadow people. Did you guys see any of them?
Funny.
Oh yeah, we spent a good chunk hallway just watching the shadow figures go back and forth. Our dog actually saw the creeper, the one that crawls the walls. She got freaked out. I think that and when Papa Ron scared her were the two worst parts of the night. But she was like, it looks like there's a shadow crawling up on the, like, almost on the ceiling and the walls. I'm like, oh, that's the creeper. And she's like, what's that? And I'm like, oh, it's a shadow figure who crawls on the walls. And, yeah, I guess you're supposed to get a feeling of doom when you see him. And she's like, oh, heck, no, I'm leaving. I'm going to Papa Ron. And she left us.
She's super intuitive, correct? Like I think that's one thing that we talked about last time you guys were on.
I'm not sure about her. You think like Kenzie's? It's our younger one that.
Oh.
So our younger one, like she would talk to her ghost friends when she was younger than she is now. But Kenzie never really. I mean, both of our girls experienced the same spirit at a different house that we lived in. But other than that, she hadn't. She's she doesn't really say much about it.
Okay. All right. So you only did both of your girls go, or was it just one of them?
Just our oldest.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, they have an age limit. Have to be 18 to get in Waverly.
Oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
So they say.
Yeah, I mean, insurance-wise, that does make a little sense. You never know if they, because like I'm sure they don't 100. Let me back up. Did the building look well kept up with?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they were. You could. I mean, they were replacing windows all through the building.
Okay.
You know, so that because the 3/4 of the windows weren't there. You know, it talk about a wind tunnel because
Ugh.
every floor had had the porch type, the awning type thing, and there were supposed to be screen windows on that, and then they had where they would roll the bed out in the morning or whatever and let them sit out in the fresh air, and then it was the room that they actually were in, and then there was another hallway, and then there was another set of rooms, but they didn't have a porch on that side. Like I was saying before, the people that were on the sun porch side were the ones who believed that they were going to get better. The ones on the back hallway were terminal.
I gotcha.
So I mean, that place was just freaking huge. I mean, and as far as shadow figures go, it didn't matter where you looked. Everywhere. They were everywhere, and they weren't shy to be seen. You could see them out of the corner of your eye and turn and actually look, and it's there, and then it's gone.
You're right, man.
They let you focus on them before they disappear, which I thought was wild because, and I thought, well, okay, there's a lot of factors that could be, factored in with, like paint chipping off the wall or something like that, and light causing it to make it, because there was a lot of shit like that where it looked like a body or a figure on the wall where the paint had peeled off or whatever, but these were actually moving shadows, they were actually moving. You see it out of the corner of your eye, see something move, and you look at it, and you can actually focus on it, and then it disappears. Yeah, it's intense. It really is.
Wow.
Everything you've heard about Waverly Hills is true.
Okay. All right. That makes me want to go there and so much more.
Yeah.
Do they have other options other than just 8 hours for being there?
I think they do a guided tour type thing, but I don't know. I don't know how long that takes. I don't know any of the specifics on that.
Okay. All right.
But I think that's the only. I do think they have a guided tour, though. I don't know that for a fact, but I believe there is a guided tour, and then you got the option of the rental overnight. What they call overnight, 8 hours. You get it from 8 p.m. to 4 p.m. or 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, 8 to 4.
Yeah, that's kind of sort of how the Conjuring House worked when we went there. We had it from 7 p.m. to 8. And I think it was 12 hours, so I think it was 7 to 7 or something like that. But we left way earlier than we needed to because it wasn't as active as we hoped. And one of the guys woke me up. I fell asleep on one of the couches, and he woke me up. He goes, "We're getting ready to leave." And I go, "All right." He goes, "The fact that you're sleeping on the couch means that there's not much going on here." And I was like, "Yeah, I guess not."
Right.
But man, I love the 3 investigations that I've done. I've 100% enjoyed. And you guys definitely seem like you enjoyed doing it. I mean, Ron, you and I have had several conversations now about this stuff,
Yeah.
and so are you guys planning? God, I swear to God, I think faster than I can fucking talk. Did you guys record and stuff, like, to put out like a video or as put out any kind of evidence at all?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Both of us did.
All right. Are you guys compiling that into one thing at all, or what's the plan with that?
We haven't really talked that far. His, I think, was recorded from the live feed that he did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mine, I bought a new laptop for the purpose of editing videos because the one I was using crashed, and it has like 0 storage space. Brand new out the box. I can't even move a video.
Cheese and rice.
So as soon as I figure that out, I'm gonna go. Like, I've looked at them, just scanned through them, and I did notice this is the second time I've had the issue where I have video clips where the audio did not record at all.
Oh,
so
I hate that. That's happened to
big
me
old
before.
mess to deal with that. So
So
Well, that's what I told him.
how often do you guys get out to investigate as a paranormal group?
Going other places a few times a year. I mean,
Okay.
I would like it to be more. It's just money situations.
More so in the summer.
But
Right.
in the summer, we do go out. Like, there's Bachelor's Grove Cemetery, Gypsy's Graveyard, or we can always have investigations at my house because it's kind of funny because I told my dad the other day, I was like, we go to these places and I expect like these big wow moments because everybody's like, oh, they're so haunted. And I'm like, can I go there? And I'm like, this is what I have at home. I'm like, maybe I'm joking because this is normal to me. So to me, it's not like big, scary wow moments. It's just like, okay, this is just like at home, So I've had many conversations just sitting at my table, my dining room table with spirits.
I hear you. There's so I think I told you guys last time too when we were trying to record. I don't know if you guys heard any of it because of how in and out all of us were with it. Because of my laptop was not the greatest and is not the greatest, but anyway, so I use like I said, when I've done the investigations that I've done, I use GhostTube, which is like an EVP reader. And I was laying in bed with my girlfriend one night, and I just was like, I'm just curious because I haven't had anything, because I've had experiences in this house, I just haven't had them lately. So I just turned it on and it said, he's down there, and I was like, what the fuck? And then it goes, downstairs, don't go down there, you better run, are you afraid? And I was like, holy shit. And then my girlfriend's like, shut that off. You're yeah, I'm not gonna be able to go to the bathroom now, she said.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I do want to say with that right there, what you just said, you don't just shut it off.
Right.
You make sure you tell them they have to stay where they come from and goodbye. Always
right.
make sure you say goodbye before you shut that off.
Absolutely.
Hey everyone, I'm Shelly.
And I'm Eric.
And we're the hosts of Gruesome and Unnatural, a true crime podcast about murder, cold cases, missing people, and just unnatural.
Join us every Monday where Shelly tells me gruesome stories that absolutely with me.
Yeah, subscribe and listen on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Absolutely.
Because it's a divination tool,
Mm-hmm.
You're opening a door. They are going to come. You have to make sure you close that door. They say them apps are basically electronic Ouija board.
Right. They're opening technically a portal.
Yes.
Yeah. I
I
thought it
don't.
was interesting. What was more validating for me is that it was saying down there, like it knew that I was upstairs. So I was just like,
Yeah.
all right, there's still something here. It just hasn't been showing itself. So all right, that's good to
Right.
know. So I don't know if you know JJ Rose, but she has been in my house remotely, and she did.
I follow. Yeah, I follow them.
Yeah, she removed an entity from my house, from my room. It used to be my bedroom, and then it was my studio. So when I recorded with her, I was in that room as my studio, and she's like, there's something cowering in the corner of your bedroom. And she did her thing, and I haven't had an experience ever since. Now I'm hoping that with because I opened GhostTube, I mean, yes, I did say goodbye and all that stuff like you said, but like I just hope I can open a new door for them to be like, all right, let's start fucking with them, because I did
Yeah.
not the other night. It was before I did open GhostTube in bed, and I was getting ready to go downstairs to the bathroom, and I just stopped, and I felt like I saw something out of the corner of my eye in the hallway, and I just kind of turned and looked into the darkness, and then I stared at it for a good like minute or two, and I was like, "Don't be a bitch." I was like, either show yourself or fucking stay away. And then I stood there for another minute, and then nothing happened, so I walked away. But like, because I've experienced, like, shadow people is the most thing that I've experienced my entire life. So I feel like Waverly, from the stories I've heard, Waverly would be like the best place for me to go, because I feel like my eye is keened in on the shadows at this point. Like it's been since I was 8 years old. I've been seeing shadow figures. So
Where's that go?
Bathroom.
Oh.
he's not. Next time you tell him he's not allowed.
Yeah. He was over there gesturing,
Right.
going, I'm going to the bathroom, and I'm like, okay, and he like bends over, he's like, bathroom. I'm like, I got
Yeah.
Oh man. So did Waverly meet expectations?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Good.
I want to go back. I want to go back.
Good. I'll go with you next time.
I definitely like
That'd
to
be
go.
great. That really would.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
trying to put trips together for like listeners and other podcast friends and stuff like that, to do stuff like this, like do mini vacations and stuff, and then be able to do stuff like this, which I'm actually working with a travel agent who can do this stuff for me, to bring my community together. But I'm
Yeah.
like, you guys, I was like, could they set up the itineraries and stuff like that, so they give us like all these activities that we can all do together. Except, so when I was talking to her, we did a Zoom meeting kind of thing, like like the three of us are now, and she was
Yeah.
like, I go, so do you guys have like work with paranormal tours and stuff? She's like, actually no. She's like, that's the only thing. She's like, I know that your podcast is is paranormal and stuff, and so your community would very much be into paranormal. She's like, maybe that's something that I should bring up to my bosses, or well, the people that run the show over there. Maybe we can reach out to some like paranormal tour stuff and maybe set something like that up. But if not, she did say that we don't have to do everything that's on the itinerary. So like, if we got enough people together, we could sign up for Waverly for one night, and then the rest of the week do whatever the fuck the itinerary has for us. Like, I don't know, go fucking horseback riding all together, go freaking kayaking all together, go to museums together, stuff like that. And dinners. They also set up dinners and breakfasts and stuff like that. We just I mean, we have to pay for it. They just set it up for us.
Right.
So
There's a lot to see in Kentucky. There's a lot
yeah,
of caves and stuff too.
yeah, I believe. Yeah, I know. I was out in Kentucky 2 years ago. In Lexington for CryptidCon, which I'm actually going back out there this November. So,
Yeah.
I know that there's a lot of shit to see. Like in that, I know Louisville isn't all that close to Lexington, but I know there's I think there was one time when I think when I was heading back, I saw like a cavern, like kind of like park or something like that. It was like, come here for the caverns or something, and I was like, what in the world was that? I was like, I have to check that out someday.
Yeah, they've got haunted cave systems and all kinds of shit down there.
Yeah,
You know,
I believe it.
and it's like you said in Lexington though, and further down because Louisville is right up in the top corner. You know,
Oh,
further
okay.
down further down in Kentucky you go, the more you'll run into caves and whatnot.
Okay. Interesting. Good to know. Good to know. I know that we've discussed this last time, but what has been your favorite tool to use on an investigation?
Yeah,
That's a
there's a couple of them actually.
Yeah.
There's a couple of them actually, and I just finally got a real REM pod. So right now that's kind of
Yeah,
one of my favorites.
that's the shiny new toy.
Yeah. Uh-oh, it froze up.
Breaking up. I
I
always
froze.
run Spirit Talker. I know that's not
Spirit
really
talk.
a tool; it's an app.
Mhm.
Because of what I had said to you
Well,
last night, which wasn't on here. It said I'm protecting you, and I said who, and it said Enid, which is my great grandmother's name, who I spent a good chunk of my childhood with, and she passed when I was 15. And
Mhm.
Enid is not just a normal name. And I know I haven't said her name around the phone because she went by Charmaine, which was her middle name. So for it to just throw out Enid, there's no way. Like that's just
Yeah.
too much of a coincidence.
Yeah, the fact that it's not a common name, like we discussed last night,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like I feel like a lot of times when it's a like with GhostTube, and there's another app, I can't remember what it was, but my buddy Phil uses it, and we get like a lot of generic names like John,
Right.
Stacy, Jessica, stuff like that. So like when it's a unique name like that, to me it puts more validity into it.
Right.
right. Or like even on her Spirit Talker app, it has actually called me by name, like
Mm-hmm.
we were talking last night.
Yeah.
You know, it's called me by name, called me all kinds of names along with that. But
It was cursing and cussing, and we're like, "Who are you talking to?" And it's like, "Ron."
Oh my god.
told me, yeah, told me go outside and shut up. All
Yeah.
kinds of shit.
That was whatever spirit we had here for a long time. Anytime we do an investigation, we were doing Estes, and anytime my dad would speak through Estes, it would be like, "Be quiet, shut your mouth, shut up, quit talking."
Go outside.
Yep, go outside.
That's fucking.
So no, I'm not going outside. Because a little bit on that though, her backyard was where the darkness
Yeah.
started. Pretty much. I mean, I'm going to say darkness. It's heavy. It's really heavy in her backyard. You know, so when they told me to go outside, I'm like, screw you. I ain't going outside. If you're inside, I know there's more of you out there. I'm not going out there.
Yeah.
You gotta fucking jump me.
Right? Right?
Oh man. Do you guys have another investigation lined up yet, or sights on anything as of right now?
We've been discussing, but nothing planned. I know
Mhm.
when he was just here, we talked about possibly going back to Monroe House. We went there for 2 nights, and I feel like Well, the thing was, the first night we were there, you could feel a real heavy energy, and it's probably one of the strongest ones I've felt. But we were all tired from the trip, and so we all decided to nap. And I got back up, me and my daughter, Kenzie went with us on that one. And so it was just me and her, but he made it from the bed to the couch and went back to sleep. And so me and Kenzie were doing it solo, well, just us two. And we were in the doll room, and it got really negative. I ended up ending it because I didn't feel comfortable with just me and her in there doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And the next day, that feeling was gone. Although the only time we did have anything up there really was when we were showering, because the shower's upstairs right by that room. And we had left one of our proximity sensors up there. And it didn't go off the entire time until I was in the shower up there by myself. And then it was just going off like crazy.
Wow.
Well, just a little bit more on that doll room she's talking about, and that house was strange. I mean, when you walked in, it really felt heavy. But I was comfortable there too. I mean,
Yeah.
I had never slept, and I refused to sleep in a haunted location. I'll go sleep in the car. I'm not going to be vulnerable. Is what my thinking was. But
Yeah.
Monroe House kind of changed that, because when I got in the door, of course, I was beat, but I was comfortable. Man, I sat down on the couch in the very first room that you walk into, and I was sitting there doing this. I I had no problem sleeping in that house. But in that room she was talking about, there was another instance of we were all up in that doll room, which it used to be three apartments, the house.
Uh-huh.
After the original people bought it or whatever, and the husband died, and on, they made it three apartments. And what she's calling the doll room used to be a living room of one of the apartments. Well, we all walked up in there and had had a lot of equipment already there. So everybody kind of sits down, and I sit down and I'm by the door, and I keep seeing shadows in the doorway. Well, I turned and I looked at the doorway one time, and it was like this. The best way I can describe it was the way Chucky looks, rushed me.
Oh,
Was in my
shit.
face. Yeah, and I questioned myself after, because I jumped and was like, and everybody turned and looked at me. It was like I'm thinking to myself, did I just see that, or what is going on in my head?
Mm-hmm.
What was that? Because it looked like Chucky, fucking little what? I mean, because I'm right by the door. I'm right by the door. So it was in my face.
Wow.
It made me do the full body stutter.
That's the first. I mean, any dolls creep the shit out of me. Though, I have three fears. It's darkness, clowns, and dolls. Now, darkness I can get over. My eyes do adjust eventually. Clowns has become more of just like an uncomfortableness, but dolls is still like a legitimate fear. I refuse to have dolls in my house.
As a child, I didn't like porcelain dolls. My sister collected them, and I swear their eyes would follow you wherever you went. And I would put them in the closet because we shared a room, and I was like, no, they have to go in the closet.
My sister had porcelain dolls too, growing up, and I swore the same thing. I was like, I swear to God, their eyes are following me every time I went in there or by her room or something, because she had them all lined up on her wall and stuff. And she had a Native American one that she had gotten from I believe I think it came from my grandmother, because we're part Native. So she thought it was she thought it was special, and she wanted to give it to me for my daughter when my oldest daughter was little, and I was like, fucking no, I'm not having that in my fucking house. You can fucking keep that fucking thing. You can give it to your own daughter when you have one someday. It's like, I'm not doing that. I don't care how like sentimental it is. I don't want it.
But
So
you know, that seems to be something that you see everywhere you go with as far as in a haunted location.
yeah.
Every one of them has a damn doll room.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like dolls either, but you know, every one of them son bitches has got a doll room. Waverly Hills even had one.
What? No, now I don't want to go.
Yeah.
How about if we do go with you at some point that he does an alone session with the dolls?
Ron or me? Because I'm not doing it.
Not Ron, you.
No, I don't want to do that. No, I'll cry. No. I do want to set something up like that though. Like just throw like, put a cast out there, see who like would be interested in going out there and making like a mini vacation out of it. Not only just doing Waverly, but maybe doing some other things together as well.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. So I know you, Austin, you said that you wanted to, you got to get a new computer and stuff. Are you planning on like having a YouTube channel for your investigations at all?
Yeah, I already made one.
Oh, okay.
I had posted, we have one video. It's pretty boring because it's one camera view and I don't edit. So, but it was an investigation in our house. And actually that Estes session where it was telling my dad to shut up is on that video. It's very long. I left it longer because before that we were doing lives here. And so there's some things that wouldn't really be interesting to people who just pop in and find it, but the people who watch the lives, it's pertinent to what they'd seen in the past. You know? But yeah. And
because her house is an ongoing story.
Right.
You know, it's still an ongoing story.
There's actually a lot, since the last time we talked to you, a lot has happened. Well, I could maybe sum it up quickly.
Yeah.
The activity continued. It got really bad. I have a time where I don't know if when I talked to you, he grabbed me by the neck at one point and I had finger marks on my neck.
Oh my God.
And every time through the SB7, or if we use SB7 or SB11, it would tell us its name was Aaron Samuel Powers. Like all three names, it would give us all three names. And I looked it up, and there's actually somebody who lived in this area, and it's not somebody who passed a long time ago. It's like in the 2000s. And his name was Aaron Samuel Powers. Well, summertime, he gets a bike.
This gets good.
And we're out riding with some buddies on the motorcycles. And we are just, what was it, like 10 minutes away, 15 minutes away?
15, yeah.
Like 15 minutes away, taking some random back roads to get home. And our buddy's bike stalls out in front of us, just stops running. And the rest of the group didn't notice because we're the two in the back. And so they kept going. So we stopped to help him out and figure out, what's going on, get his bike going. Well, the other two turn around and come back. We happen to realize that we're stopped right next to this small, very old cemetery. And we decided we're going to go back there and do an investigation.
Well, I was telling while Doug is fixing the bike.
Oh, while they were working on the bike, I pulled up Spirit Talker while we were sitting there, and it was like, we can see you all. And I'm like, okay. And they're all freaking out. They're like, oh, no, no, no. And they just take off on their bikes.
Whoa.
So we ended up going back with just one of the group. He joined us, and we were going to do an investigation, but the mosquitoes were so bad, like terrible.
Oh man.
So we're like, we'll have to come back after we have some bug spray. So I come home and I'm doing just a little bit of research on that cemetery because I didn't even know it was there. And I'm looking at the graves to see, how, like, the list of the grave sites to see how old the graves are. Just so happens that is where Aaron Samuel Powers is buried.
I knew you were gonna say that. I fucking knew it. The minute you said you broke down on to help, you pulled over to help that guy, and there was a cemetery there. I knew that's what you were gonna say.
Yeah.
And I was just like, "Oh shit, that is wild."
So almost a year.
That's 100% true too.
It was almost a year after we first got his name. To the day we went there with my dad, and we left an offering at his grave. And pretty much was like, we don't know what you want. We can't help you. Because at this point, if I tried talking to him in spirit talk or with the spirit box, we're arguing. Like, arguing. Because I'm like, okay, you need to go. And he's like, no, I'm not going to go. And he's telling me I can affect your daughter. And I'm like, you're not going to touch my daughter. And he's like, watch me. It's like that kind of conversation. And I'm like, dude, get out of my house. And he's like, no. And like, we're arguing every time. So we left an offering at his grave, which he was well off and he was a business owner as well, but he did not have a headstone. He still had just that little, like,
it's like paper.
Temporary one they put like a marker.
Yeah.
So I don't know if maybe that's part of his anger in his afterlife. But and we were just like, we can't help you. I don't know what you want. You need to just move on. Leave an offering. And we came back to the house and we're doing an investigation, and it was, you knew as soon as you walked in the house it felt different. It just felt peaceful. And the only thing that came through Spirit Talker after that was, thank you for the respect. Goodbye, friend.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And something else I want to add to this, that cemetery that she's talking about, when I got there, I had not been in that area in ages. It's back in the woods, It's in an area called Furnaceville.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when I got to that cemetery, I thought, damn, this thing looks familiar. And as I walked into the cemetery, I'm going, I know this cemetery. Ends up being a lot of my family, her family as well, but it's on my grandmother's side, are all buried in there.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we get there and I'm walking around looking for Crawfords because that's my family, or my grandma's side of the family, but my family and hers as well. But I'm walking around and I walk right to that Aaron Samuel Powell's grave and stopped. I said, that's him, ain't it? I walked right to it.
Damn.
And it's a good sized little. It's a good sized little cemetery, and like she said, it is in the woods, so that's why the mosquitoes were so bad.
Oh, I've never
right.
seen mosquitoes.
Dude, bugs ruin everything.
It's taken care of, but not to the point it needs to be. The trees are growing into it and whatnot. But yeah, I just wanted to add that little part of it. That's where a lot of my family has been buried. Because I walked into the cemetery and I'm thinking, man, this looks familiar. But we're going back to when I was like 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Was the last time I'd been in that cemetery for a funeral.
1806.
You know what? No, come on now.
Right. I thought it would be like 1706.
Oh, come on. hey, no.
We weren't even established in 1706. Calm down.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
this
He doesn't need your help.
right. Right. Man, this was a phenomenal conversation. You guys are awesome, and I mean, like I told you, Ron, you're welcome any freaking time. You're such a joy to talk to. Austyn and Zach, you guys too. I definitely do. I definitely do want to do a Waverly trip with you guys because I've always wanted to go, and I know you guys are close to the area anyway. Well, semi close to the area.
Yeah.
But
4 hours, 5 hours.
yeah. So I would definitely love to do an investigation with you guys sometime. Maybe I'll put some feelers out and see if we can get a bunch of people together and stuff like that. That'd be dope. That would be dope. But if you guys,
if we get 10 people together, that's it. Pays for the entry.
we might even be able to get more. To be honest with you,
I think they limited it 15.
15. Okay. 15
I
would be
think.
dope. We'd be able to. Like, because I want to do like documentaries and like videos and stuff for my production, because I started a production company, or well, I am starting in the process of doing that. So the production company is going to cover the ghost investigations and my my short form documentaries. So I want to do, like, if we could get enough people to cover all like the hot spots in Waverly and then combine it into one like video, that would be dope.
Yeah.
You know? And then like switch off every hour, everybody in each room, and then we'll do everybody like one team, a team of 2 in one area, a team of 2 in this area, something like that. That's just a thought. It was, yeah, this is just a thought. Maybe I'll put some feelers out and we'll get something going. But I'd love to meet you in person, Ron. I talked to you early on when I started the podcast, and you've been a great friend ever since. So I really appreciate you.
I appreciate you. I do. I really do.
Thank you.
Met a lot of good people through you.
That the paranormal community to begin with is amazing. The podcasting community, and then when you put the paranormal podcasters and the paranormal investigators, like, everybody's so nice and so welcoming, and everybody just wants to talk and tell their stories, and I love it. I love talking about this stuff. So
yeah.
But you guys have giggling ghosts over there, just so you know.
It's our gremlins. They're tucked in the room.
But if you don't mind letting everybody know where they can find your socials one more time real quick.
You want me to go first or you?
Go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead.
Screaming Skulls Paranormal. It's on TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube.
Dope.
And Grave Evidence on TikTok and Instagram probably be the best way to go, because I have nothing on YouTube. I have a YouTube page, but I don't have anything on it. I have the background banner.
Yeah.
I have the background banner, and that's it.
Yeah, you kind of have to have a YouTube channel to not a channel, but like, I think when you just sign up for YouTube to watch the videos and stuff, it automatically just gives you an opportunity to make videos as well.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, thank you guys for taking the time. I know last night was horrific and I was extremely irritated, so I apologize for that, but I really appreciate you guys coming back again to get through this conversation. It was an amazing conversation. I love hearing these stories, and Waverly sounds amazing. So again, I appreciate you guys coming on and taking your time, because time is our greatest currency. And it means a lot to me that you guys chose to not only suffer through an hour of last night trying to record, and let alone tonight recording. So I appreciate you a lot.
We appreciate you for having us.
Appreciate you having us. So.
And like I said a couple minutes ago, you guys are welcome back anytime you want. Anytime you want to talk about anything, we can talk about whatever, really. and as open door, I promise. But for the listeners, if you like today's episode, please like, follow, share, subscribe, leave a rating and review, do all that stuff. I would greatly appreciate it. Go check Grave Evidence and Screaming Skulls Paranormal on their socials, TikTok, Instagram. Also, if your podcatcher doesn't allow you to leave a review, please consider doing so on the website where the weird ones are, podcast.com. That is also where you can get merch, hot sauce, coffee, and supplements. But I really appreciate you guys taking the time to listen, and I hope you guys have a good day. And remember, question everything and stay weird.
This concludes our broadcast day. Click.
Because in the end, none of us have very long on this earth. Life is fleeting. And if you're ever distressed, cast your eyes to the summer sky, when the stars are strung across the velvety night, and when a shooting star streaks through the blackness, turning night into day. Make a wish.